The night my shed erupted in flames, I was chowing down on a greasy burger, soda fizzing beside me, the kind of evening where you forget the world exists. Then, saw a blast like a missile hit my backyard. I scrambled outside, barefoot, heart slamming against my ribs, and there it was, my shed roaring fireball, tools and paint cans exploding like gunfire. Embers swirled, the sky burned orange, and I stood there, stunned, as my little workshop turned to ash. My neighbor, Eddie, staggered out, while VYing a garden hose like it could fight a dragon. "Mike, what the hell? You hiding dynamite back there?" he shouted. I didn't answer. My eyes caught a silver SUV tearing down the street. I knew those plates. It was her Margaret Voss, the HOA president, dictator of manicured lawns and nasty emails. She'd had it out for me since I built that shed last summer. Said it ruined the neighborhood's charm, which really meant I didn't bow to her. I had permits, legal paperwork, the works, but Margaret didn't care about rules. She wanted control, and now my shed was gone. Fire trucks screamed in, hoses blasting, barely SAVY in my house. The chief, twirling a toothpick, asked if I had enemies. "Margaret Voss," I said, voice flat. He raised an eyebrow. "Funny. Your neighbor across the street saw a woman in a purple scarf chuck something over your fence just before it blew. That was it. Game on." I dug out the hard drive from my security cams. Hadn't checked it, yet wanted witnesses first. 2 hours later, there she was, sharp as a blade. Margaret, hair in a tight bun, sneaking along my fence with a bottle in her grip. A flick of her wrist, a spark, then flames. My fists clenched. This wasn't petty HOA drama. This was arson, and I wasn't calling the local sheriff. I was going nuclear. I used to run logistics for the Department of Homeland Security. Still had friends in high places, the kind that make people nervous. Arson with flammable chemicals? That's a federal crime. I called my old buddy, Agent Mark Sullivan, and laid it out calm, clear, deadly serious. By dawn, Margaret was still prancing around, sipping her iced coffee, while VYing like she hadn't just torched my life. She had no idea the storm coming. Mark didn't mess around. Arson near a shed packed with solvents wasn't just a felony, it could be tagged as domestic terrorism under federal law. He looped in the local PD and fire marshal for a courtesy VY sit. At noon, I parked myself in my garage, coffee steaming, watching the show unfold. A patrol car idled at the cul-de-sac's entrance. Then a black Suburban and a fire investigation van rolled in. Margaret stepped outside, pruning her roses, her wide-brimmed hat tilted just so. She froze when Officer Lopez told her to hold still. Mark flashed his badge, voice like steel. "Search warrant, Ms. Voss." "Step aside." Margaret's voice shot up. "I'm the president of this community. This is a mistake." Neighbors peeked out, phones up, recording. Mark didn't blink. "We've got you on VY Deo, tossing an incendiary to VYC. Stay quiet or keep digging your hole." Her eyes locked on me, pure poison. "This is all you saw, Mike." They found a scorched purple scarf in her trash, residue matching the fire's acceleranthamide napalm, Mark said. Margaret's composure cracked as they zip-tied her wrists. "You can't be serious," she shrieked, but the crowd stayed quiet. Eddie let out a low whistle. As they shoved her into the Suburban, the street felt lighter, like a weight lifted. The feds tore through her house and found a binder labeled Problem Residence. My address was circled in red, illegal structure. Others were marked for nonsensia pride flag, a goofy mailbox. She'd been spying on half the block, logging fake violations, pocketing fines. It was enough for a CIVYL rights probe. That night, I threw a barbecue. 20 neighbors showed up, spilling stories. Lisa got fined for 2 VY Brandt tulips. Ryan got a letter saying his deck VY OLAT aesthetic codes that didn't exist. She made us feel like we were alone, Lisa whispered. DVY didn't conquer, I said. Not anymore. Ryan smirked. She's finished, right? I nodded. HOA bylaws kick out anyone with a felony. She's done. We filed a petition to overhaul the HOA, dropping it straight to the city clerk, skipping Margaret's mailbox. By Thursday, the fire marshal slapped her with 3 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. No bail sheet was a retaliation risk. Someone left a gift on my porch. Work gloves, a drill bit set, and a hardware store card with a note, for fighting back. I grinned. The street felt alive again. Then I found her ledger. Cash dues from new residents, due law 50 to due law 300, no receipts. 15 names, none in the HOA's books. I took it to the county courthouse, meeting Assistant DA Karen Holt, a pro at nailing public corruption. Her eyes gleamed. This is wire fraud, mail fraud, maybe embezzlement. You got a financial crimes case. She was already calling the auditor as I walked out. The neighborhood shifted overnight. People waved, kids biked, fences turned into chat spots. I was hauling lumber for a new shed when an old-timer, Frank, limped over. "You took her down," he said, shaking my hand. "Vietnam vet, face bombs, but her threats? They hit different." Margaret had warned of towing cars, blocking insurance, stripping PRIVY legies. There was no board, just her and two silent puppets. Karen called next morning. Grand jury's rolling. Arson started it, but the fraud's the kill shot. Subpoenas hit Margaret's lackeys, Tina and Greg. Greg showed up at my door, sweating, with memos she'd forged their signatures on. One outlined a scheme to relocate residents via fines and parking tickets. I sent it to Karen. The IRS piled on Margaret hadn't reported a cent of her cash haul. The trial was a spectacle. Margaret sat stone-faced, her lawyer flailing. The VY Deo, the ledger, neighbor testimonious, it was a slaughter. Guilty on all counts in 5 hours. The judge tore into her. Terrorizing neighbors isn't leadership. It's crime. 10 years in federal prison. 5 years super VY said release. Due law 80,000 in restitution. She had to handwrite apologies to every VY Tim. When those letters arrived, we read them aloud. Some laughed, some burned them. I kept mine, a reminder of unchecked power. The shed rose again, stronger solar panels, fireproof roof. Not out of fear, but defiance. The HOA got a makeover under Frank's lead. We shredded old rules, posted budgets online, added anonymous tip lines. The shed trial became legend. At sentencing, I spoke last. She didn't just burn my shed, I said. She tried to burn our spirit. The judge nodded. Margaret never looked at me. Outside, the rain cleared. Neighbors held a cleanup, sorting Margaret's old files, secret complaints, unspent funds. We rewrote the bylaws, banned fines without votes, set term limits. I skipped the board, but consulted, ensuring no one got railroaded. The Martinezes, once fined for their garden, built a community library box. First book? Sao at in lit de sip sao. One evening, Lisa handed me a clipboard. Community Appreciation Award. No dodging it. I laughed. We have awards now. We do now, she said. I took it, not for glory, but because it meant we weren't afraid anymore. Margaret was somewhere, scribbling her 100th apology, her kingdom gone, crushed by truth in a neighborhood that fought back. So what's your take? Was Margaret a power-hungry tyrant, or just a misguided control freak? Should the neighbors have pushed for life in prison, or was 10 years fair? And what about HOA? They breeding grounds for bullies like her, or can they ever work? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if this story got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more real-life sagas that'll keep you hooked.